Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Spider-Man Far From Home. And I remember when the trailers dropped for this, and I was thinking, okay, this could be cool, it's interesting. And like that first trailer dropped, and I'm trying to think of how this is going to follow up Endgame. And then I saw Endgame, and then they started releasing the spoilery trailers that hint at what Far From Home was really about, and then I got increasingly more interested. And I am, for the most part, going to talk about this as if you've seen Endgame at least. So, because there's one significant thing that happens in Endgame that really shapes this film, so I'm warning you that I'm going to talk about that. But in general, starting from the top, I never expected a whole lot from John Watts. He was more of like the Peyton Reed or John Watts and then the directors of Captain Marvel, where it's like, okay, they just got some indie, smaller directors that kind of feed into Marvel's little setup. I'll admit I never saw Cop Car, I haven't gotten a chance to see that yet. And I wasn't super impressed by like the direction of Far From Home. It had a lot of energy, it was fun. It really captured that John Hughes vibe, but like from a filmmaking perspective, there wasn't anything particularly special, I thought, about Homecoming. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot in that department for this film, but I was pleasantly surprised because there was some of the most inspired camera work and direction and just structuring of a scene in most Marvel movies. And this actually had some things that really surprised me on a film level. And Mysterio has a lot to do with that. And there's so many twists and turns in this film. I am not going to get into spoilers, but some of the scenes with Mysterio and his use of powers are incredible and really awesome and really impressive. And then how he utilizes Spider-Man in an action sequence. So the action in this film is exhilarating and just inventive, honestly. Because Spider-Man is unique in the web slinging and the physics of everything. And what he winds up facing in the third act of this film, they used to really, really impressive lengths to make some incredible action sequences. And I was really impressed by that. I honestly really loved this film, and what really worked for me, the whole teen setup, it's really funny, it's charming, and you really care about these characters. Honestly, a lot of the characters in this film, because there's a lot of characters, are pretty one-dimensional, whether it's the teachers on this trip or a lot of the kids. I'll get to some of them in a minute, though, but honestly, it really captures that magic of like teenage, like John Hughes 80s era movies. And I really love that. But then it mixes it with such great superhero action. This is a really unique film and something that I thought was really impressive. And from a character standpoint and acting standpoint, Tom Holland, I feel like, is the best Spider-Man at this point. He is such a great actor. He really captures both Peter Parker, his awkwardness, and his Spider-Man like awkward confidence, and his quips, and his humor, and he's fully realized as Spider-Man. And then you have Jake Gyllenhaal, of all people, that they convinced to be in a Marvel movie, and he's fantastic. And no matter where his character sits in this film, and what perspective you're having with him, you buy it. For a decent chunk of this film, it's really this like older brother bond that he builds with Peter, and it's so genuine, and you just feel it. And then where his character goes, and where Jake Gyllenhaal could take this character is really impressive. And then Zendaya as Mary Jane MJ is great. I absolutely loved her. She is one of my favorite supporting characters in any Marvel movie. She just captures this awkwardness, and the chemistry between her and Tom Holland is amazing, off the charts. I absolutely love them together. And this budding little romance going on, I absolutely loved it. And the music choices are inspired. Michael Giacchino, it's not like top tier level superhero movie scores, but it's a really effective score. And where all these other characters like Nick Fury and Happy all fall in here, it winds up being a really interesting thing. And getting to the big point of the legacy of the loss of, and spoilers, Tony Stark in Endgame. And where this really takes this character of Peter Parker and where he's going after that happens and how that's shaping him, his mentor passing, and is he going to take up this mantle and that pressure on him. And this movie goes into so many different places with Peter Parker, and also how the grander scheme of Tony Stark factors into the villains of this film and how things are set up, similar to Homecoming. And it really makes something special and organic. And this film, by the end, with the after the credit scenes and where this film leaves off, leaves you floored. And I'm so ready for another Spider-Man film. And I know I don't have to wait a century for it because, you know, Sony's going to be like, money! And they're going to make more. And I'm excited to see it. And I honestly love this film. There are some things that, like, some of the humor just felt in there with, like, specific gags. I know people complained about some of the slapstick humor in this. And, like, some of it was a little bit much. But honestly, just some of the jokes not working and some of the characters being really, really flat. Those were the main things I had problems with this film. But there's so much greatness in this film that, honestly, you kind of forget about that while watching it. And you're just in for this amazing ride. I love this film. It's a great way to end Phase 3. This is a great Marvel movie. And it's a really, really high-quality film. And really works. And I loved it. And I really enjoyed it. Those are my thoughts. Comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.